The French know a fair bit about luxury, don't they? Fashion, luggage, food, oh, lovely. But cars? Well, let's see, this is the DS9. It's French luxury car brand DS's latest attempt to take on Audi, Mercedes and BMW. It's a saloon car, it's about 5 meters long. It looks pretty good in my view. It's got some fantastic little design details. The LED lights, the way they pirouette as you turn the car on, the grille looks pretty fancy. And this coulissage, this metallic strip that's supposed to replicate posh French watches running down the centre of the bonnet and in the car as well. Colin at the car wash is going to absolutely love it when he sees that. But what's this car like to drive? Let's have a go, shall we? The whole DS experience is about more than just the driving. So we'll come to the driving stuff in a little while. But it's about looking after you. It's about craftsmanship. It's about French luxury, as we've said. And it's about Only You. You see, there's this program that DS have created called Only You. Now, first off, it makes me think of Yazoo or the Flying Pickets or even Ringo Starr, who all made that song famous. But it's about having one telephone number that you can call to sort everything out, all your problems, car servicing, booking tickets for you at fancy events, all that sort of stuff, the ultimate concierge. Then they talk a lot about the luxury experience. Now, this car has the Opera treatment. It's a top spec Rivoli Plus the Opera treatment, which gives you lovely leather with the watch strap finish. And this car really is finished quite nicely. Pearl stitching, which is really quite cute. The guillochage finish that we've seen down the bonnet at the front that is apparently from very expensive watches. And nice little touches that you see around the cabin that you just think, you know what, this is a really premium upmarket car. Apart from the fact that this one's got a slight rattle, but it's an early car, I'm told. Now, there are frustrations, not least with the usability, the infotainment system. It's a 12-inch infotainment system, but the screen that you actually see with your navigation on isn't 12 inches, it's much smaller than that. And why do you have to push a number of buttons to get to simple functions? So if I want to change the temperature in here, I've got to press one button before I can change the temperature. What's wrong with a knob or a dial? Let's be honest about that. Some of these buttons down in the middle for the windows and things like that, they're used to being on the door. We just keep them on the door where most people expect them to be. And it really genuinely took me a long time to realise that the window switches are there and the mirror switch is, no, it's down here, right behind the steering wheel. That said, this is the largest version of the EMP2 platform that is used across the old PSA range. Now, of course, Stellantis probably go into the rest of the Stellantis lineup as well at some stage. So there is reasonably good space sitting in the back. Although if you try and sit behind me, your knee room's okay, but because I have the seat down low, there's nowhere really, if you've got big feet, to put your feet under the seat. But it's better than I expected. Boot, of course, this is the plug-in hybrid version, so you've got to put the batteries somewhere. And the boot isn't huge, there's a little bit of a lip, but you know, it's going to be okay for most people. The other thing about this car, and I've got to say this, I'm sorry to be rude, it's got the ugliest clock in the world. Now, if that clock shows me what French luxury is, then no thanks, I'm really not that bothered. So let's talk about what this car is like to drive. And the one thing I've been really pleased with when I've been driving this car and talking to the guys from DS is there's been no mention of the Nürburgring. So they're not going for a lap record of any sort in this car around the Nürburgring. It's more about comfort. And it's got a camera here, DS Active Scan, that is scanning the road in front and adjusting the suspension within 150 milliseconds, I'm told, to make the ride more comfortable. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear the slight rattle in here, but it's kind of a mixed bag, because over some of the bigger stuff, you see a drain cover, for example, and it goes over it. Oh, did there anything? Oh, it kind of did that really quite well. It kind of smoothed the edges off what I was expecting to be a big bump. But then there are sort of smaller undulations, what I would call the secondary ride, that just keep moving the car a little bit. And it reminds me, in a good way, I guess, of the new S-Class. Now, I haven't exactly been blown away by the new S-Class. I thought the ride was a little bit too firm. So this, likewise, is a bit of a mixed bag. Now, this is the plug-in hybrid version, so you'll go apparently around 30 miles officially on electric power alone. This car was fully charged at just under 20, but maybe that's because of the rubbish weather and temperatures we're having. But it's really quiet. You've got laminated side glass here, and it is a really quiet, quite a pleasant thing just to pootle around with gently, so the ride isn't too bad at that sort of stage. And the seats are really comfortable, and you've got everything you need once you can actually work out how to use it. Now, the plug-in hybrid system uses a battery, obviously, and an engine, and the engine is a 1.6 litre engine, which you might think in a car that's reasonably big like this, about 5 metres long, is that going to be enough? Well, from a performance point of view, it's okay. But I'm just going to accelerate. Hang on. You probably can't hear that, but what I can hear is just a sort of 4-cylinder engine, which isn't the most cultured sound in the world. The gearbox as well just takes a little moment to react. Of course, I can play around with my drive modes and put it into sport mode, and I get a few sort of red dials. The suspension probably firms up a little bit, the steering gets a little bit more weight, but most people will just stick it in comfort mode and let the car work out what to do best. And in comfort mode, you know, I've quite enjoyed just driving this around the Oxfordshire country lanes, just minding some of the biggest potholes and wondering, how on earth do I adjust that mirror over there? Oh yes, it's down there. How do I adjust the temperature? Oh, I've got to press that button before doing that. Oh, a few little frustrations, but once you're sorted, just put the massaging seats on, select the cat paw setting, and relax. Whoa, I feel like a new man. So the DS9, is it the best car in the class? No, it's probably not, but is it an example of what DS is aiming to do, to take on Audi? They say they're in it for the long game, and I reckon this is a big step forward for them. If you like something different in your executive car, then take a look at the DS9.